'Twas the Raw before Christmas. We thought it was gonna rock. But besides a couple good matches, this Raw kinda sucked. The Broncos and the Bengals were exciting as hell. And with Hogan hosting, Raw didn't end well. Well, kind of. Zack Attack is here making a little Christmas rhyme for tonight's Raw review on the Raw before Christmas, Monday, December 22nd, 2014, taking place tonight from the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. If you didn't get the gist out of my poem, the Raw before Christmas was, yeah, okay. The first hour sucked completely. And the second hour was kind of okay. There's the main events of each hour were okay, but this Raw was just weak tonight. Weak. Proving once again that NXT can do better in a 1-hour show than Raw can in a 3-hour show. Now, a lot of silliness on NXT. But we did see okay things, but most of all was like, and the Bengals and the Broncos of all nights for Monday Night Raw to kick Raw's asses tonight. You know what I mean? Broncos and Bengals are putting on an excellent game. With playoff implications, it was crazy. So much a lot of people started changing the channel to Monday Night Football. Because it was more exciting than most of Raw tonight. But I had multi-view, so I had it on picture-in-picture, so I got to watch both. And I was distracted because my grandparents are both in the hospital right now. So prayers for my grandparents right now. One went in this morning, and the other one went in tonight. And they're both in the same hospital. So prayers for my family right now. So, with that out of the way, brush that off. Let's kick off Raw with the Hogan. Coming up to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and spread some Christmas cheer. But here comes the Grinch, John Cena, to ruin everybody's year. He's had a rough year, Mr. Cena. You know, he was on top of the world, now he's no longer the champion. He will take on Lesnar at the Rumble. And he wanted a little bit of Lesnar and or Seth Rollins after what happened at Raw last week. Of course, I did not make a Raw review last week. I was in an improv show last Monday, so I didn't watch Raw live, which was from Detroit last week. But I saw it on DVR. So the main event was John Cena and Seth Rollins last week in a steel cage made by guest GM Chris Jericho. And it was a decent steel cage match. Then Lesnar got involved because he made his return after a few months off, attacking Jericho, doing his scheduled street fight with Heyman. He F5 Cena, suplexed him, and aligned himself with Seth Rollins. So since Lesnar was not going to be ready until Royal Rumble to appear again on any other show, or at least before the Rumble, Cena wanted a piece of anybody that was involved in that situation last week. Specifically, the only man available, Seth Rollins. There's another reason why I don't like Raw sometimes. The same guys wrestle each other week after week. You know what I mean? That's why NXT is more exciting. Because NXT is only an hour. You only see select few guys every week. And when some guys come on, you're like more excited because you don't see them every week. Like you do on Raw. Especially finding the same fucking people. So Seth Rollins came out. Started making fun of Hogan. Made some interesting jokes better than Cena's joke. Especially when Cena made a fucking Frozen joke. God. The obligatory Frozen joke. So, there you go with that. Like I said, Rollins came out saying that Cena, the reason why you have these silly GMs come around is because you won't let the Authority come back in power after what happened at Survivor Series. So bring them back. Cena's like, no. I'm going to give you a present of my foot up your ass. Spitting knee up for weeks. Spewing up some nasty jokes again. Some stupid jokes again. And Hogan made the match. Cena and Rollins to kick off Raw. This actually wasn't that bad of a match. Because Seth Rollins reminds me of Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. 3 guys who can have a good match with just about anybody. The tables match wasn't that bad last week at TLC. This match wasn't bad too. Because like I said, Rollins carried the match. And he looked really good in this matchup. Even with the obligatory silly interference from J&J Security. You know, Jamie Noble and Joey Mookie. I do like that name for them. You know, I think Daniel Bryan thought of that name. He just thought of that name when he had the general manager role in the Raw after Survivor Series. He called him JJ Security, and the name stuck. I like that. So there was some decent action during this matchup. Like I said, one of only 3 good matches in the entire Raw show. The rest was full of filler. It should have been saved for main event. Or even more superstars. Anyway. But he had to pay for it. $9.99 an hour for that shit. But anyway. Some okay spots. Rollins was trying to use a briefcase. But the referee got distracted. That's when J&J Security got involved big time, heavily. Before they got double air feud from Cena. Despite that, Seth Rollins tried to nail his big move. Of course, the curb stomp a few times. Cena would later nail him with an F feud, following the double AA to Mercury and Noble in the 1-2-3 victory for Mr. John Cena. Even though Cena was still a fun match between these two guys. Like I said, Rollins carried the match. It was some good action, very back and forth action. These two guys have interesting chemistry. Cena can have good rivalries, especially if it's against the right people. If Cena works with the right guy that can give him good matches, that's when he can have good feuds. Like people against him against Edge and Punk, probably his best feuds. Because those 2 great guys who can have good matches with anybody. D-Bye, even though there wasn't that much of a feud, but still they had a decent match at SummerSlam last year. So there you go. Cena wins again against Rollins. Trying to look good once again as he gets ready for Cena Lesnar 3 hit the Rumble. Now after this, that's when Raw started going on autopilot for the next hour and a half. Because be like, yet Fandango, the new and improved Fandango, which should be the new and improved being fired, or at least change his name or get rid of the character. No matter what you do, the new Fandango is not getting over because it's not as good as Mrs. Old theme. That's what got him over. Was the theme, Anyway, as he took on Jack Swagger. Swagger looked good kind of early. Trying to hit with his big moves. Including a big Swagger bomb. Trying to go for the Patriot lock. But then with the referee arguing with Swagger, Fandango took advantage of that. With some big kicks. Setting up for his big finish. The leg drop off the top. In the 1-2-3 victory for Fandango. Surprised that he won. So there you go with that. Fandango wins. Okay, little matchup. Then we would have Animals against R-Truth. He's like 2 baby faces, but I think Animals may finally turn heel. We've been seeing hints of Animals turning heel, beating up the bunny every week. And it's like, is he ever going to turn heel for real? And he lost again to R-Truth. His losing streak continues. Bunny had a broken neck after getting choked, slammed, and tombstone by Kane. I love that, especially since the crowd in Detroit cheered. I love our Detroit crowd. Detroit crowd was good. Minnesota crowd was decent. So after Animals lost for the millionth time, he took out all of his anger and frustration out on the bunny in his most vicious assault yet on the bunny. Like his previous assaults on the bunny has been kind of soft in comparison to this one. He just beat him up outside, nailed him against the steel steps, stomped his head against the steps, and tossed him against the barricade, even pushed and shoved some of his Exotic Express. Like, is he finally going to turn heel for real now? We've been seeing him taking out his frustrations on the bunny for a week. Is he really going to turn heel or what this time? Is teasing the heel turn? Is he actually going to be turning heel now for real? And finally betraying the Exotic Express and going with a new gimmick? Because even I said it a few months ago when he started debuting, that his gimmick was okay, but it's only going to take him this far. It was only going to take him so far. And now I think he realizes it. And hopefully Animals can turn heel for real in the new year. So there you go. Now, our next matchup. To begin the second hour after a wombish first hour after the first match. Roman Reigns against Big Show. Now, we've been seeing this feud kind of hinting after Roman Reigns came back at TLC during the Cena Rollins match when Big Show got involved. And of course, Reigns is the undeniable favorite for the Royal Rumble match, being the first guy in. And he had a big rumble last year too. But a lot of people, I've been reading a lot of articles on the internet saying that Wade is being shoved down to people's throats. And you know what happened to the last guy they shoved down our throats to be the favorite? That was Batista. He went from that to being Bootista to Bye-Bye Tista. To being in the #1 movie of 2014, Guardians of the Galaxy. That is the truth. That is the #1 movie of the year. Insane. And I had a sneaky feeling to myself. I was like, Big Show Roman Reigns' feud should not end here at 1. It'll end with something silly. DQ or count out. That's exactly what happened. And Big Show's not as agile as he once was, but Roman Reigns kind of carried the match, literally. As he beat up Big Show inside the ring with some big moves. Big Show tried to use his strength and height advantage to his advantage. But then Reigns came flying back with some big clotheslines. I like that middle rope thing when he does like a running kick off the ground to Big Show on the middle rope. But then they brought on the outside. And then on the outside, on the floor, Superman punched in the Big Show, knocking him over the announce table. And the Big Show out with a Superman punch underneath the announce table, even turning it over, trying to get back up. And still woozy. Big Show got counted out. Roman Reigns gets the victory by countout. I think these guys will have another match. Probably on SmackDown. That's why I don't like WWE programming the main shows, because the same guys wrestle each other week after week. I talk with my friends. They say the same thing. Like, WWE sucks now because the same guys fight each other every week. You see the guys on Raw, then they face each other again on SmackDown. You know what I mean? They need some fresh new opponents. Especially in the tag team division, need some fresh new blood. And even the Ascension's going to debut next week from NXT. I've been applauding NXT for the last couple of weeks. And once again, NXT showing off WWE. Especially during the Divas matches. You know what I mean? NXT's women's matches are just phenomenal. And once again, NXT's women are showing off the Divas as it proved again tonight. As Nikki Bella's sister, Brie Bella, took on Natalya. At least Natalya's on NXT, and she does well at NXT. She took on Charlotte in a great women's matchup at the first NXT TakeOver. And when Charlotte goes in the company, I think she'll bring back class and bring back legitimacy to the women's wrestling. If they let her wrestle her style that she wrestles at NXT in the main company, real women's wrestling could come back. If they can just have WWE have the nerve to finally have some great competitive Divas matches, not silly hair pulling like we saw during this match between Brie and Natalya. Natalya deserves better. But I think Natalya could be going up for the Divas title. I think she pinned the Divas champion last week during a tag team match. And since Nikki needs a new opponent, since AJ is apparently out of the company, since her husband's now gone too, the UFC, I think Natalya's going for one as Divas champion. She's been Divas champion before. So I'd love to see Natalya as Divas champion. Be a change. So anyway, Brie was in, of course, her little Brie mode. Trying to go for big moves. But then after Nikki tried to get involved, Nanny snatched her out of the ring, knocked her down, before getting the victory over Brie Bella. So there, Natalya pins Nikki's sister, gunning for that Divas Championship, and her husband might be cheating on her. He's like flirting with Brie. Of course, I'm referring to Tyson Kidd, the real life husband of Natalya. So we'll see what happens with that scenario. But on to the next matchup, gimmicky matchup. Gold and Stardust teaming up against basically a handicap match. Los Matadores and El Torito. Or should I say them? El Torito, the red-nosed bull. Because he was wearing I think he was wearing a nose and antlers. Because it's, Christmas spirit. A lot of Christmas gear, including Jerry Lawler and his ugly sweater. Kind of liked it, but it was still traditional ugliness. Anyway, kind of a silly matchup. Star and Goldust tried their best to maneuver themselves against Los Matadores. They looked okay in this matchup. The former tag team champions tried to take advantage of the Los Matadores, but it still ended up being a comedy match, especially with El Torito getting involved towards the ending. blindsiding himself in to take care of Stardust and Goldust with a miscalculation as Stardust ran into Goldust. That gave El Matadors the advantage with the backstabber from the Ego. And then Torito got a big splash and a 1-2-3 victory for Los Matadores and El Torito. And a silly but okay little six-man, handicap tag team affair. Now on to our next matchup with the Intercontinental Championship. Dolph Ziggler against Luke Harper. Now, even though I've been like dissing, there's only a few matches that I don't mind seeing every other week. This is one of them. They had a great tables match at the TLC. And this match wasn't that bad for being a one-on-one matchup, a real one-on-one matchup, not stipulated. Still a good matchup. Harper's a great big man. I've been applauding him as my favorite Wyatt member besides Bray Wyatt. He's great on the mic, and he's a great agile big man. And he went straight for Dolph Ziggler. He wanted that IC title back. Big time. Hold on a second. Mom, I'm making my wall review. I'll give the phone to Duty. Sorry about that. My mom's calling because, like I said in the beginning of the video, my grandparents are in the hospital. So my mom's calling because she's coming back from the hospital right now. That's why she's calling. And that's why I had to take that call. Once again, get rid of my grandparents. They're both in the same hospital, too. So, where was I? Oh, yeah, the beginning of the Harper-Ziggler match. Harper won that title back big time. He ran straight for Ziggler. Started beating him up to begin the matchup, just brawling, just destroying him for the early half of the matchup. With his brawling style, he really won that title back. He went right at Ziggler. Because he was the challenger now. He had to go right at Ziggler. Which he did in the beginning of this matchup. But Ziggler, being the ring warrior that he's become ever since, beating the odds at Survivor Series, winning the match for Team Cena, and finally getting a possible big push with another IC title reign, winning it at the TLC pay-per-view after losing it to Luke Harper on Raw about a month ago, before Survivor Series. Ziggler had his never say die attitude. Some big moves. There was some great moves like the famous serve. You didn't even have a powerbomb. Forgot to mention Cena doing the match against him and Rollins. I think he did like a kind of a version of a Batista bomb, sit-down powerbomb during his match. But then Harper came flying back with his big moves. Of course, the big clotheslines, big kicks, and all his big moves. Even a Michinoku driver. That's interesting. You see a big man like that do a move that's done by a light heavyweight. To see that perfectly executed was really good. Indeed. Had to make a kind of time reference. Anyway, I love saying that. I love saying indeed. Even. If you get that joke, once again, thank you for all my Attitude Era fans out there. From this Attitude Network. Sorry about the cheap plug. I don't think there was many cheap plugs for the network tonight. Well, it was because I didn't have sound on Raw because I was watching it on the side while watching football. Anyway, fun matchup between these two guys. Really, very, very great back and forth action again, like the tables match without the tables. And the ladders without the ladders, Face puzzle from Dolph got back in the game. Like I said, very good action from these two guys. Ending up with, of course, Harper trying to pick him up for a big move. But then Ziggler countered with a super kick. Going for the zigzag, which he connected. And the 1-2-3 victory for Dolph Ziggler, retaining the IC Championship. Hey, I don't mind seeing these guys wrestle again week after week, but still, it's a fun little matchup between Dolph Ziggler and Luke Harper. I think Dolph he's been playing hot potato with the IC Championship since August. He won the title in August at SummerSlam, lost the title at the next pay-per-view Night of Champions. He won it again the next night on Raw. Then he lost it at Raw before Survivor Series, and now he's got it again. So, it's kind of been a hot potato, but still, it's nice to see Dolph Ziggler. I think Dolph Ziggler is the only guy that can bring real legitimacy back to the IC Championship. Because the IC Championship was a stepping stone for a lot of stars. A lot of former IC champions went on to be world champions after being IC champion, like Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, The Rock. Name the list. Go down the list of former world champions who became world champion after being IC champion. It's not that Dolph Ziggler's going for. He's a former world champion. Hope he gets another shot at it, maybe. As long as Lesnar's not champion. Lesnar will destroy him. Speaking of guys who could destroy Ziggler, maybe not Lesnar, Rusev was the star host, the guest star on Piper's Pit tonight. He was on Jericho's highlight reel last week. Now he's on Piper's Pit this week. He, of course, attacked Ryback on SmackDown this past Friday, apparently, starting a feud with Ryback for the United States Championship. I think Ryback could have a good chance on beating Rusev. You know, he's got a lot of momentum on his side after coming back with the fans cheering him on again. You know, the Feed Me More chants going up. Even though he kind of hit a roadblock with Kane at TLC, I think he can get his momentum back if he can beat Rusev. And be the first guy to beat him. I think it'll be interesting to see. I say a match in the Rumble for sure for the US Championship. So Piper started talking after Lana spewing her propaganda and character. She looks hot though. I've always applauded Lana's hotness. And her portrayal of her character is done well. And Piper's like, I got you guys a gift with a bow on it. And it was Ryback coming out to destroy Rusev, to get revenge after what Rusev did to him on SmackDown last week. He beat him outside the ring, tossed him inside the ring. Some big power moves, and Rusev tried to come back with a big flying kick. And then Ryback caught it, nailing him with a body slam, a power slam, should I say. He was going for the meat hook. And then Rusev ducked it and went out of the ring to avoid the meat hook. But I think these two guys, like I said, are hinting towards a possible feud over the United States Championship. Now on to our next matchup, a 6 Divas tag match, a Santa's Little Helper match. We had the team of Alicia Fox, Naomi, and Emma teaming up against Paige, Summer Rae, and Cameron. Most of these stars, I think all but Emma and Naomi are on Total Divas. Because Paige is on it now. I think Naomi left for whatever reason. Of course, I think Naomi's been missed years. I think she should have been Divas champion, I think, at some point this year before her eye injury to Oksana. You know, she had all the momentum on her side. Because I think she's the most agile, athletic diva there is. One of the most athletic divas in the main roster. She's actually pretty good. You know, and Paige looked good at NXT. You know, and I think she should be Divas champion again. Now that AJ's gone, Paige needs to step up her game now. As long as we have a face champion, because now Nikki Bella's a heel, you know, and Bree's a heel too, apparently. That's why I don't like WWE as well. Storylines, they change back and forth. Like, Bree was Nikki Bella's assistant for a month, hating it, then teamed up with Nikki for no apparent reason. That's why I've been loving NXT's simple storyline telling and their actions. You know? Sorry I'm shilling NXT down our throat, but it's true. NXT is the best wrestling show on television right now. In my humble opinion. Raw's trying, but it's like, come on. Especially when you're up against the Bengals and the Broncos tonight. It's tough to compete with an exciting game with playoff implications. And silliness like this doesn't help. It was a typical silly Divas match. You know, Santa hats and all. Looking cute. It was an okay little matchup. Paige got in there with a little black Santa hat. Trying to look all dominant and all. But of course the face team would come in, especially with Naomi taking on Cameron. Former Funkadactyls would come in. And like I said, Naomi's a very athletic wrestler and agile. Then after Naomi got wrangled down, the hot tag into Alicia Fox. Got in there. She got in there with Cameron before nailing a big move, a big leg lariat, and a 1-2-3 victory for Sly Foxy and her team of Naomi and Emma. Let's see Emma back on TV after being released and all that shit, after stealing from Walmart, then being rehired. So there you go. Now, on to our next matchup. We saw Naomi, now we see her husband, Jimmy Uso, accompanying his brother Jay, taking on The Miz. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing the Ascension come in. We need new heels as a tag team and new tag teams in general. Because I think the Ascension have looked dominant in NXT. Now I think they can just one rough shot of the entire roster. Because we need an evil heel tag team. Because Miz and Sandow are heel champions, but you can tell that a lot of fans, including myself, are cheering Sandow, Miz down more than Miz. Because I think the Ascension could be a big fit for the main roster. It could just really destroy if they get booked properly. Because most of the NXT guys come in and they get booked poorly. Just ask Adam Rose. You know what I mean? I just hope the NXT guys get treated better. Now with a lot of people like me watching NXT and applauding NXT, hopefully when these NXT guys come in, they get booked better. Especially one of the NXTer who's been gone for a while may come back. Who make us want to believe in Santa Claus. Love him or hate him. Gotta hate, gotta appreciate. Believe. I love saying it like that. Girls both hours. Saw his family photo. It's interesting that he and Bray Wyatt are real family members. And it was an interesting photo with their dad, Mr. IRS himself, Mike Rotundo. So, and once again, I'm applauding Miz Dow for taking this gimmick and running with it, and really running with it, and hopefully get a big push out of it when he finally turns on Miz. You know, with Miz looking good in the matchup, Jey Uso came literally flying back. Some big flying moves, some big kicks, some more dropping all that stuff. But after blocking the figure four, Miz would get the wall up, hooking him to tights with no distraction from Miz Dow at all to help him into a 3-3 victory for one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions, The Miz. So there you go with that. So there we go. And now to main event, the other best match of the night. It's like TLC all over again. The two best matches of the night are Dolph Ziggler and Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose. And this time they fought in a Miracle on 34th street fight. Play off the movie. Because it's Christmas time. So they had a match at TLC. They had the match on the Tribute to the Troops. With Dean Ambrose winning that match after Wyatt won at TLC with that silly television ending. Which was kind of put into a joke with all these gifts in the ring. When they started up the street fight. Dean Ambrose grabbed the box midway towards the match. And the box had a TV in it. He decided not to use it. Because he remember the last time that TV was used against him. In the last matchup. And it was a fun matchup. I don't think it was as good as a TLC match, minus the silly ending. But still, it was a fun matchup between these guys. These guys put on some great fights, man. The feud storyline doesn't make sense, but the fights have been awesome. You mean the storyline's going back and forth, you know. Like Bray wanted to help him, they was against him, blah, 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 blah. Of course, he delivered a promo before the matchup. And then, like I said, they put out them tables. They fought outside the ring, even using, they were using gifts, chairs and candlesticks that were kind of like candy cane. They even used a couple other weapons in this matchup. Like I said, they used ladders, they used chairs, they used everything. Like they did. Basically, it was like the tables match minus most of the tables. And they even used the Christmas tree weapon. These guys had a good fight. Very near fall, really good action, very good back and forth action between these guys once again. And there was a lot of great near falls in this matchup as well. Of course, the New York Friends clothesline from Dean Ambrose. Looking good, nearly Bray with the candlestick, doing moves with the chair. But Bray Wyatt came flying back with his big moves like his clotheslining. Ambrose outside the ring against the Christmas tree. And nailing with the stick, even bringing out a ladder. He was trying to jump off the ladder. He didn't nail him with a big elbow drop, not through a table, but in the ring. But then Ambrose, they had a candy cane against the ring. A candy cane candlestick set up against one of the turnbuckles. That would be the nail. It was not as silly as an ending as the ending in TLC, but still. Bray Wyatt nailing, pushing Dean into the candlestick and the turnbuckle, rolling him up for the pin. 1-2-3 victory for Bray Wyatt. win this kind of woman match since both guys have beaten each other. But now Bray's 1-1. Even though Bray won the match, Dean may win the war, kind of. As it was Dean Ambrose standing tall at the end, as Bray was celebrating, Dean Ambrose named him, sprayed him with a fire extinguisher before putting him on the table he was trying to use throughout the entire matchup, going off the top rope for an elbow drop through the table like he did numerous times during the TLC match at the pay-per-view last week. So we would end this Merry Christmas of War with Dean Ambrose standing up top a fallen. Dean Ambrose standing on top of a fallen Bray Wyatt, following putting him through a table. So there you go with that. Now before I go, SmackDown is officially moving to Thursdays. It had been rumored for months. Now they're moving to Thursdays. Interesting timing, because now that TNA is on Fridays now on their brand new network, Destination America, it's interesting time for SmackDown to go on Thursdays, so they won't compete against TNA. But they're competing against NXT now. That's more stupid. The second hour of SmackDown is going up against NXT. A lot of people will be flipping to NXT. But, hey, you can watch NXT on demand as well. So, hey, you can watch NXT either live streaming on the network or watch on demand. So I bet you a lot of people will still watch NXT, but just on demand. Not the live streaming, unless it's one of those live specials. Now, that's going to be interesting. That would be a whole lot of interesting if they have SmackDown up against a 2-hour NXT special. Like TakeOver. That's going to be where it's going to get tricky and screwy. With NXT and SmackDown being on the same time if NXT's got a 2-hour special on. So that would be intriguing to see how that's going to work. With SmackDown being on the same time as that. Or have it start an hour earlier. Who knows? Sci-Fi could play with it. But we'll see what they do. Where NXT has their specials against SmackDown. And that is it for my Raw review. Thank you very much. With that in mind, y'all been attacked by the review from Zach. Thank you, and Merry Christmas to all. I hope everyone has a great, safe, and healthy New Year. Should I say Christmas? Speaking of New Year's War, today's War was kind of but next week's War should be winking of awesomeness, as Edge and Christian are going to guest host Raw next week. With their 5-second poses. And all that good stuff. And once again, Merry Christmas to everybody. Hope everyone has a very safe and happy Christmas. And once again, prayers are going out to my grandparents tonight who are both in the hospital. I don't know specifics, but like I said, they're both in the hospital right now. So get well, Grandma, Papa, get well to you, man. And once again, Merry Christmas. See you later. Ho, 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 indeed. Indeed.